There was some action yesterday from the Small Business Association of Michigan. Rob Fowler is the CEO and president of SBAM, is what some people call it. He's on the other end of our line. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael Patrick.
You have, the buzz went around that you have decided, SBAM has decided to endorse Rick Snyder for governor. True?
That is true, and I think from our perspective, we just looked at his positions on things and his background, his life experience, and he just lined up so well with our own focus on entrepreneurship as a method for turning around the state's economy. And we just felt like there was really good alignment between where he stands and our vision for the state.
Did you spend? How did you gather the information? Did you have an interview with him? Did you look at his website? How did you come to the conclusion?
Well, we actually spent a fair amount of time with Rick Snyder during the course of the campaign. He actually came and met with our board of directors in April. As you may know, as you do know, we had a candidate forum where we had each of the candidates come and speak to our annual meeting, and it was through those kinds of processes. And the same thing with Virg Bernero. I had a chance to meet with him, and then he also spoke at our annual meeting. So that kind of process, but I think that the news of this is that we did shorten the traditional process we used. We didn't do pack interviews with each of the candidates. Mm-hmm. I think we knew early on that there was just great alignment with Rick Snyder and his background, and we made an early endorsement. And I think if there's news, it's the early part of our endorsement.
The fact that you're one of the first major organizations to jump in with an endorsement, it makes it a bigger splash. Is that what you mean?
Yes. PACs and business organizations tend to go through some fairly thoughtful process, and our sense was he was the guy that really aligned best with us of probably all of the candidates, both sides. Mm-hmm. And so we shortened up our process and just got in early.
What is it that's most appealing about Rick Snyder to the members of the Small Business Association of Michigan?
Michael Patrick, we've talked a lot about, I love this term, economic gardening. It's just a great metaphor for a different way of doing economic development. Mm-hmm. Less dependence upon recruiting from the outside and more focus on building entrepreneurs, literally from startup, but helping those companies who are already here grow. And I think we know some new things about how to help these companies grow. But if there is a person who's lived that life, who understands that, it's Rick Snyder. And so that's what's so appealing to us, is that he has walked in the shoes of an entrepreneur. And he's run a very large organization. To us, that's a pretty powerful combination. We think he's got a great vision for the state, and it made it pretty easy for us to endorse him, I think.
Let me ask you a question, and I'm going to play a little piece of audio for you here. Just a few minutes ago, we spoke to a fellow called Tommy Brand, who owns a number of steakhouses in West Michigan and scattered across lower Michigan. And we asked him who he was backing for governor. He said he was going to keep an open mind because he's a fair tax kind of guy, and he wants to see where they stand on that. But here's what he said when I asked him about his leaning toward Rick Snyder.
That's fair. I don't like Rick Snyder's 6% corporate tax on Michigan businesses. I mean, job creators should be unleashed and let us do our thing, and we'll create jobs. But that's the only downfall in his plan right now.
What about that Snyder plan to replace the Michigan business tax with a flat 6% corporate tax? And in the case of a small business owner like Tommy Brand, he didn't like that idea.
Yeah, it's something that we're going to take a look at, and we have been all along. Doesn't line up specifically with our current tax position, except that one of the things we really call for is simplicity, and the beauty of a 6% corporate tax is it is simple. But we really need to take a look at it. Actually, like Tommy Brandt, we have a position in favor of the fair tax as well, because it is simple, because it is fair. Those are the reasons that we've supported it. We're going to take a look at Rick Snyder's position. We're going to try to work with him to refine it a little bit in terms of its effect on the very small companies, pass-through entities, and startup companies.
Okay, thank you very much, Rob Fowler. We will see you soon.
Thanks, Michael Patrick.
Rob Fowler, the CEO and president of the Small Business Association of Michigan. Politics is our family business.